welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raff.
We did it, we made it.
Because when a band's name starts being everywhere, it can be very easy to go like, okay, like.
Just because I know what it's like to feel left out and to feel like people are weird or mean to you, and so I never want to be that person, and I want...
This here is my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
Big opportunity. You guys must be stoked you're on the first day too, because you can just sort of shoot. Yeah, you can just relax.
Brian was sitting down with his longtime friend and his former bandmate Meegs from Cold Chamber, and they were having coffee, and Brian was...
When those questions go, those hearty chuckles.
You know what that laughter says to me is like, people don't even know what's coming. People are just going to be minds are going to be blown by that.
No, it will be a fucking banger.
What's happening, everybody? I am the Reverend Raff, joined once again by my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
What's going on, everybody?
We are the Two Dudes Who Talk Music, and we are back today. It's another Thursday. It's another podcast episode. Lovely to see you. And we have really, really cool guests on today. I'm really, really excited for this one. But before we dive into that, if you've been following our channel for a little while, you know we've really kicked things into a higher gear in 2024. You know, we started dropping regular releases, dropping like 6 videos a week, which we've tried to really maintain that pace for you guys. So if you've been watching our content and you've got a bit of enjoyment out of it and you're not subscribed, it would mean a lot if you could consider hitting subscribe, and that little notification bell helps to grow the channel, helps to push our stuff out to more people who might also enjoy it like yourself. And if you are already subscribed, thank you very, very much. We do have a Patreon as well. It's just a couple of bucks a month. I know everyone's nagging you to sign up for their Patreon or their YouTube membership or whatever. Sorry to have to do it. It's just one of the fucking business, you know. But look, it's only a couple of bucks a month, so it's not shouldn't eat into your stuff too much. But even if it does, look, that's totally fine. We completely understand. But if you're interested, you do get everything early and ad-free over there. So hey, thank you very, very much for subscribing to the Patreon. If you already do, I want to give a shout out to our Patreon members. I want to call out the absolutely awesome people. So we've got the other one. He's not this one. He's not that one. He's the other one. Want to give a big shout out to Teresk, all the way from the US. Thank you very much, Teresk. You are an absolute legend. And Tim, blue-eyed Tim, thank you very, very much. Beautiful baby. I want to give you a kiss next time I see you, because I love you so much for subscribing to us on the Patreon. Most people, the kisses are extra. But Timmy, you get them included in your one. There you go. But yes, so if you're interested, head over there. And you know, we want to add some extra stuff this year, just exclusive for the Patreon. So definitely go and check that one out too while you can. But mate, Kyle, my friend, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good?
Good. Been just kicking back, spending time with the kids, spending time with the wife. Had my 11-year anniversary recently.
Oh, congratulations on that, mate.
Yeah,
11 years is
man.
crazy.
So, 11 years married. So, yeah, love you, baby. So that's been pretty cool. But, yeah, other than that, man, no, just listen to a lot of music, eh? I actually went back and listened to the Weezer's Blue album. You know how they brought out those 4 albums all together? Like, it was like that. Yeah. Forgot how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just go back and listen to some real weird, obscure old stuff.
I love that when you go, oh, I haven't listened to this in, like, something will pop up and you go, I haven't listened to this in ages. So you go back and check it out and you're just like, because we all know how it is. Sometimes you just over listen to something and it kind of gets oversaturated and you just end up skipping it every time, and then you don't listen to it for a while and it comes back around and you're like, yeah, it's time for this to come back into regular rotation.
Yeah, and when it does, it just comes back at the perfect time, I think.
Yeah, it's like the universe sending you a little message.
It is.
That's good.
And mate, how are you going after all those winds and floods and
look, we're doing good.
Howling rains and
doing good. Doing much better than a lot of people. So I'm very grateful for that. Very much appreciative that, you know, like my house is up nice and high. And you know, I kind of had minimal impact, and you know, work's been good. They told us to have they gave us Friday off because we, you know, at that when they gave us Friday off because at the time it was expected to hit Thursday night, but you know, they just take Friday and then when we were coming around Sunday night, I'm like, what's the go? Are we working from? You want us to come into the office? Are we working from home? What's the deal? And like, look, if you can work from home and you want to, maybe do that. So, they've been pretty
cool.
good about it, which is a pretty. So I look very, very, very lucky from my side. But no, man. Other than that, just been trying to plot music stuff, reaching out to a ton of bands for the channel, trying to set some things up there, which has been really, really cool. We've been getting, I tell you what, it's really nice to see we've been getting a lot of bands and their management companies starting to reach out to us and say, hey, this is we see you guys do reactions. Would you be, this is we're submitting this in case you guys want to do a reaction to it, which is awesome. Like, thank you so much, everyone who sends those through. It means so much that you consider us worthwhile submitting that sort of stuff to, because, we look, the imposter syndrome's real. Like, I know we're not like massive megastars or anything, but it still kind of trips us out how many people watch us sometimes. So, and how far our reach is. So, look, thank you very, very much. If you're some of those people and you've reached out to us to react to your bands. Look, we had some recently. We had Lovebox. We had Havoc from the Philippines reach out. We had Architect and Dreamer. Like, you guys are amazing. Thank you for reaching out to us. It means a lot that you consider us. Yeah, as I said, consider us worthwhile. Sending that stuff too.
Reputable enough to do it for you.
Yeah. Reputation. We're not big enough to be anybody. We're big enough to have a reputation, apparently. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but look, it's been really, really good. Like, I like getting that stuff through from you guys, and I like seeing what's happening in the world. If you watched our episode a little while ago with All Against, it's a thrash band from Portugal. They got a new album that's coming out real soon. So thank you to Bruno and the boys for sending that through to us to have an early listen to. Very much appreciated. You should go and check them out. All Against. They're really, really good. They got good music, and we highly appreciate their time and everything there. And look, Rockin' Around the World's going strong too. We've been finding some really cool stuff with that. So yeah, look,
the algorithm's got to start being a bit better to us. It's got to start spitting out a bit more random.
But hey, look, if that's the case, we just, like I said, we just go and dig something up. We just go and find something. But that has been. Look, this year's been really, really good. We've had a lot of people that we've spoken to, this year and even late last year. I feel like the reach is getting a bit more international. People from overseas are starting to sort of follow what we're doing, which is really, really cool.
It is. It's amazing.
And so I'm loving the fact that we can connect, some international bands to maybe an Australian audience, and some Australian bands to an international audience. So it's part of the reason we started doing this. We want to,
especially for those beautiful regulars that come on here. Even though you might not be subscribed or anything and you're regularly there, we love you all the same.
Yes, absolutely. And we love hearing from you guys in the comments on everything. And it's been, I feel like maybe it's my imagination or maybe it's just a bit of a run there, but I feel like some of our regular video views seem to be slightly on an upward trend, which is nice. So thank you if you've been watching our stuff, if you come back to the channel to see what we're doing. Like, it genuinely, like, it means a lot. It really, really does. Like, we started this channel with the intent of just talking shit about music and, maybe putting that out and just getting a bit of engagement with the community and helping and finding more music for ourselves as well, because we're very passionate about that. And the fact that we're starting to build a nice little global community of people that get our sense of humor and the kind of Aussie way of approaching a lot of this stuff, and that we can bring that to the world and bring some of that little bits of the world to Australia it means a lot. And it might seem silly that I'm saying this when we've got like 3,000 subscribers, but genuinely every single one of those subscribers means a lot to us. So yeah, I'll stop being all sappy now. Thank you very, very much if you're part of this journey, whether you're subscribed or not, whether it's your first video or your 100th video. Thank you. And we hope you stick around and watch this one, because we've got a really, really good interview for you guys today. Yeah. We've got a really good interview for you guys. So we're going to be talking to a band from Adelaide, Australia. I like to call Adelaide. Love Adelaide, great town. Love getting down there when I can. Not nearly enough. I haven't got down there nearly enough, but every time I've been down there, it's been a good time. But yeah, we're going to be talking to a band called Storm the Crown. They have got a couple of EPs out. They just dropped one a little earlier this year, so you should definitely go and check that out. But look, these guys take, I mean, you know, metalcore is probably the best genre descriptor, but they really take elements from a bunch of different places, which is super, super cool. These guys have all been knocking around in the Adelaide scene for quite a while now, and
They know what they're doing.
they do. They really know what they're doing. Like, it's in terms of, you know, an Aussie band, the stuff they're releasing is up there with some of the best, quality-wise, production-wise, and just everything about it. They're absolutely killing the game. So we're going to dive in to our chat with these guys now. We got Waffles and Killer, a.k.a. Shane and Chris, and we're going to dive in right now with Storm the Crown. Thank you very much to Killer and Waffles from Storm the Crown for joining us today, boys. How are we doing?
Good, mate. Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, look,
good.
not doing too bad. I'm up in Brisbane, so I've just gone through the old Cyclone Alfred rubbish. Doing fine.
Have you
I'm pretty
inherited
high
a new
up.
swimming pool yet?
Yeah, fortunately, when I bought this place, I did all the flood checks, and I'm pretty high up, so I'm pretty good on that front. And
Nice.
you know, just went to the shops, did some sensible shopping ahead of time, hunkered down. Works good enough to let me work from home because I got one of those cushy white collar jobs that lets you do that sometimes. And so yeah, made it through pretty good. The weather's all clearing now, so should be all right. I got lucky though. There's a lot of people that didn't. So yeah, if you're out there and you're impacted by Alfred, like, you know, obviously our thoughts go out to you. Hopefully you're able to come through it pretty good. But yeah, look, excited to have you guys on. Thank you for getting back to us and then teeing this up so fast. We really, really appreciate that.
No issues, man.
Been as I mentioned, now I came across your guys' stuff on TikTok, which I am loving for music discoverability. Like, I have a list of like 250 fucking bands that I found from TikTok that I'm just like, yep, these are all amazing. I've got to check them all out. Got to work through their stuff. But when I went to sort of actually explore and look into you guys a bit more, I found out I actually already subscribed to you guys on YouTube Music because you guys came recommended from somebody else that we'd spoken to on the podcast previously. I don't quite remember who, but yeah. So already, like, you guys are clearly making an impact on people. And, you know, I've been going through, listening to the back catalogue, trying to get a bit of a thing. And I got to say, like, the production is crisp.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very, very lucky. We've been working with Andy Kite at Against the Grain Studios on both of our releases. He is amazing. Really, really happy with the way the sounds come out through him. Then everything gets sent off to the Panic Room in Sweden to get mastered by Thomas Pleck, which we're just blown away by as well. I mean, he's worked with huge bands like Soilwork, Opeth, all these amazing bands. So, yeah, we couldn't be happier. Like, the sound has just come out amazing. Really, really happy with it.
And I mean, Panic Room. That's a name that I've heard before. So in very good company there too. Like, it's clearly worthwhile because the quality of what you guys are releasing is just. And I don't like, you know, getting into comparing and sort of because too much competition sort of vibe there. But if I was to look at it against a lot of other, you know, like Aussie bands at a similar level, like. It's, you know, for the most part, it's light years ahead of the sort of production that a lot of bands are putting out. And it's one of those cases where I think, you know, that it makes a difference. That
it does, because when they see you live and then they go and listen to it afterwards, there's nothing lost in translation. I can only imagine what you see in live with you lot is pretty much exactly what you're getting on the live. Like, if not better, like what you see is probably what you're seeing is probably better.
We really try to give it live. That's one thing that we'd always aim. Just my aim is to go up there and destroy every time we go on stage. I just love it. I love it.
And he does a good job at it too. He's a pretty good front man.
He's a pretty fearsome looking individual with the mane and the beard and everything. I bet when he's up there in full flight, he is a a little bit intimidating. So, but I mean, I'm looking at the list there, and I'm seeing like, if you guys take a lot of inspiration from like I Killed the Prom Queen, Double Dragon, Shot Point Blank, things like that. I mean, it's some good fucking bands to be inspired by and take, kind of draw your sound from.
Yeah, look, Waffle, you go for it, Waffle.
It's the area we grew up in. Like, I mean, Chris has been around in the scene since early 2000s. I mean,
Paradise Burning would have been 2003, I think.
Yeah. And I've been in the more hardcore scene. I remember seeing Promies at Almond Blossom Festival in '99. So I'm old. And I've been into that sort of music for a long time. I mean, my first band I sang for years and years and years and years ago used to practice next door to Kerr, which is a precursor to Prom Queen. So it's always been those bands that have influenced my music taste. And then the Poison the Wells and the From All Ashes and all that sort of stuff behind it as well, bleeding through, of course. And having Chris being in Paradise Burning back in the day is one of them bands that I went and saw fairly regularly. Every time I got a chance to go see him, I went, and now I'm sitting in a band with him, so which is pretty cool for me.
It's
I
always
suppose.
weird how that works out, eh? It's lovely in the local, especially in the local scene, when you hear about, I went and saw that guy, I thought they were really good, and now I'm in a band with them.
So you guys have like all been sort of in and around it, like each other's stuff for many years now.
Yeah, and I mean, I was lucky enough to come up with like guys like I Killed the Prom Queen and Day of Contempt and Parkway Drive and all these amazing bands. We kind of all started at reasonably around the same time, playing that same sort of that hard early 2000s metalcore. And yeah, so that's our bread and butter. That's what we grew up on. We just love that stuff. Obviously, there's some like a lot of death metal influences coming in now. A lot through our guitarist Alex, which I am personally loving with my style of vocal. No, we just have a good time, we're a bunch of old heads for the most part, and we just enjoy what we're doing. Seeing other people enjoy it is a massive bonus. So
yeah, and I think that's one of the most important things. It's like above anything else, you got to be getting up there with good friends and enjoying yourself. And if that's not part of what's happening on a regular basis, find something else.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Hang out in
It's going to grow
loud noises for.
It's just going to grow Like the only exception would be is if it's, if everyone can just be like, no, it's purely a business thing, up there, do a job, go away. Like if everyone can be that, okay, I will concede that can work. But if you're up there and you're not having a good time with the people you're up there playing music with on a regular basis, quit, find something else, get involved with something else, because it's not going to come back, and not without a break at least. And it's only going to grow more and more resentment, which is going to lead to a worse situation in the long run. So
isn't that what you always hear? Like someone leaves the band because they've just had enough, and then the next minute they're getting signed and they're playing stadiums. And
I couldn't agree more.
Up there to have fun, 100% up there to have fun, because we're not getting any younger. Like, I mean, me and Chris are mid-40s now.
So we're not far behind.
You get sore after doing a gig. So if you're not enjoying it and you're putting yourself through that sort of punishment, it's sort of not worth it. But it's definitely every gig's been absolutely amazing. From the smallest, shittiest gig we've done, which is in a pretty much crack shack in a shed out the back of somewhere, to like sharing the stage with Bleeding Through. We've treated them all equally. It's still a heaps of fun for us. That's all it is.
That's
the main thing.
Enjoy it.
Even practice for us though. Like I hang out just to get to see the guys, and we have a barbecue every practice so we can sit down and have a feed together, and it's a family.
Nice.
I love getting to hang out with the guys.
Sunday dinner, right? Sunday roast dinner, you'll get together.
100%. 100%.
That's Sunday afternoon barbecues is for us.
Yeah.
Well, it sets you up for the week, man. Especially, like it does. It just those Sunday sessions just used to set up your week.
And it's time with the boys, and
exactly.
You get to just hang out and be with your mates and have a good time, which is, again, it comes back to something we talk about quite often on here, which is the sense of community. That and I've said it before, that people talk about a male loneliness epidemic. Like, start a band,
Yeah.
Start a fucking band, learn an instrument and start a band, and you will
Yeah.
find people that you can form close bonds with and just let out a lot of that aggression, and people that are there for you, that will have your back. You may not find them right away, but you go through a few things and you will find them, and I think that's super important. So how long exactly has Storm the Crown been a thing? When did you guys get together with this particular project?
Yeah, so it's been about 2.5 years now, I think, from inception to now, maybe 3.
Far out.
Ish. Not in the grand scheme of things. It hasn't been heaps long. I suppose. I mean,
You
our
guys have
first
obviously
gig
played
was
in a lot of other bands and stuff before.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Shane, I mean, myself, I've played in multiple bands that have had really good local success. Adam, our drummer, has played in multiple bands that have had great local success as well.
and he's been doing it for a long, long time.
Yeah, same with Alex, our
Since he's little.
guitarist.
Yeah, good.
So,
It shows. It shows through the music and the recordings, man.
Yeah, and then Waffles, myself, and Ads, our drummer, have been playing together for maybe 8 years now. Waffle, would that sound
wow.
about right?
Probably not even that. I mean, we were literally just fucking around in another one with another mate of ours, which was
We had a jam band. We'd get
Yeah.
together once a fortnight, hang out with the boys. Exactly that sort of situation. Hang out with the boys, play a little bit of music, listen to some music, and have a good time.
I literally got thrown a bass going, "Can you play this?" I went, "Yeah, I can, I suppose." And yeah, that's how that happened. So I'm a bassist by default. Yeah.
Default, the two sweetest words in the English language.
Yeah. Can you do this? Okay.
Default.
No,
That
well,
works well.
that's how I started playing bass too. Like I was jamming with some mates, and I was the lead. We had a drummer and 3 guitarists, and I'll be frank, I was the least talented guitarist out of the 3. So I was like, I guess I'll play bass then. But for a long time, like I was a kid, and I approached it like a failed guitarist rather than like a bass player until I got a wake up call many years later and actually got my head in gear. So only a few years. You guys have done a lot in that time in terms of like, gaining a reputation, gaining success. You've done some cool shit already, like, playing with Bleeding Through. Like that's fucking cool. That's cool.
Very cool.
That was ridiculous. It's going to take a lot to top that. Being a person that listened to Bleeding Through 20 years ago, and walking out and actually meeting them and actually sitting down and having a chat with them and being side stage, all that sort of shit with them, it's going to take a lot. A hell of a lot to top that sort of thing. And especially being in our still fairly infancy with our band, like we did that pretty quick, which was just rad.
But that's one of those things, I guess, of from being, in and around the scene for as long as you have, and through various other projects, like you've got connections, people kind of know who you guys are already. You can have, so when you come out strong with something like Storm the Crown and the amazing stuff you guys are doing, it's very easy for the right people to take notice in that kind of scenario too.
Hell yeah.
Which is just goes to show, like, you've been around, you've been doing it for a while, but you're clearly like the kind of people that bookers want to work with.
Yeah.
So you've been doing it for a while, but you're not complacent. You're not like getting any sort of entitlement, like, oh, I've been in the scene for this long, so I deserve respect and blah,
We
blah,
have
blah.
to
You're
work-
starting at
we
zero
have-
again when
we-
you start a new band. You're starting along with everyone else, as far as I'm
100%.
concerned.
We have to do the hard work as well. It's not, we have not been given any gigs. Just here you go, have a gig. We've had to push for it in the early part. Now that we're under Ironjaw, it's a bit easier. With him getting us some gigs and having to do that legwork. But for the first year and a half, I mean, I was the one sitting in the back messaging people. Like I messaged Bleeding Through, and they responded to me, and it's like, holy shit! And then I found out it was Brandon actually doing their socials, and that's how we got onto Bleeding Through. Just conversing with them, and that was rad as shit. Like I sent them our stuff, and they liked it, and then one thing led to another, and then Ironjaw was the one who brought them to Adelaide, and which even made it even better because, well, they're our manager. So
There you go, mate. Guys, if you want the industry secrets, he's the one that's going to crack it through tonight, because these guys would know how to do it.
Just
Well,
persistence.
quite clearly.
man.
I mean, what, 56,000
You asked the question.
streams on
Yeah.
on one of your things, and we say it here all the time. All they can say is no or not answer, or they say yes.
Yeah.
If they say yes,
always
then
You ask the question.
you're not losing shit. You're not losing anything by reaching
you
out.
might lose a
Like,
little bit of sleep for like a day or two, but
I-
eventually you get over it.
you get pissed off. You go, "Ah, snobby bastards! They don't respond."
Yeah.
But
Trust me,
pay-
the bands I've reached out to for the podcast, yeah, I agree. Like there's bands, we
Alright.
reach out to a lot of stuff, and it's always nice when we at least get a response to say no. But a lot of them you just don't, and that's fine. But if you don't ask the question, you don't get it. So as you say,
100%.
like I was fortunate enough to be just. So I don't know if you're familiar much with what was the Sydney scene from a while back, but I used to play bass for Tensions Arise back in the day. We were fortunate enough, our singer reached out to Logan Mader because he was doing a lot of production work at that time. We were looking at trying to do something, and we reached out to him, and he was like, yeah, sure, I got some time here. This is my rates. If you want to do it, let's do it. And, so we flew over and stayed in California for a couple of weeks and recorded with Logan Mader, and we're like, holy fuck, this is the same dude that does like, Fear Factory and Cavalera Conspiracy, and he's done like Devil Driver and all these fucking bands. And we're just like, I can't believe we're fucking like, this is a thing,
and all it took was that one message.
Exactly. All it took was the one
It's
fucking
amazing
message.
what it does. People, I think they think that people in big bands or people that do that sort of stuff are a different type of person. They're just people. Like we had an absolute ball with the whole band at Bleeding Through, and that was like Brandon's wife came along, and my wife and her were sitting there having a chat. They were drinking together, and they're just normal people. So I don't know why people just hesitate.
It's because we put them on a pedestal. That's an issue for everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like we have such immense respect before we've even spoken to these people, just because of how much their music speaks to us, that we put them on this unrealistic pedestal. When they're just like us.
100%.
They got wives. Some of them got wives. Some of them got kids. Some of them divorced. Some of like it's just one bunch of another banana. Like it's just
They're still on the pedestal, but they're just an attainable pedestal now.
Exactly.
You can speak to them, which is cool.
But that's one of the things that we've learned from the larger interviews we have managed to sort of line up, is that a lot of the time they're, because we see like rock stars and they're like in these mansions and shit and whatever. But when it comes to metal, especially like the heavier stuff, a lot of the time that's not what we're seeing. Like they're average people. They live in normal houses, in normal suburbs, in normal areas of the world. And you reach out to them and they've managed to be successful enough to make a career out of their music. Okay, great. Like you interview these people and they're people who are passionate about music and have been fortunate enough to set themselves up with a career that's focused around that. And but the passion for music is the same across the world in all of these people. So you already have that in common with them.
Yeah, geek is a very specific language, and when you're a music geek, we all speak the same stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So I wanted to ask. So the track "Ritual" from your new EP has obviously been getting a lot of attention, a lot of play there. What can you give us a bit in terms of like the history of that song, what it's about, and just kind of break that one down for us a little bit?
Yeah. So something Alex, our guitarist, brought to us. I think it was maybe the 10th song.
Yeah, I think it was called. I think it was called X when we got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I sat on it for a long time. I couldn't get my head around how to write for it. But essentially, it's about nightmares.
Yeah, it feels
and
like
then,
it.
Yeah. So nightmares, and then the impact of being at a show, that cathartic release you get when you see a band. So that in there as well with the choruses and stuff, and the whole ritual idea is going to that show and just giving over all that stuff that you've got and letting go of it, and
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ideally it's nightmares. So yeah.
Well, but that's like a really nice analogy though, because if you know much about rituals and especially if you're looking into like older like pre-Christianity sort of like tribal and pagan rituals and things like that, a lot of it just comes down to the like catharsis of working through that energy and those emotions and putting that into something, you know, intentionally, and putting that using that energy for something intentional. And I think that in a way, you know, a gig for a lot of people is that, you know, a release of that energy. It is a ritual.
100%.
You know, you go in there and you're all kind of like, you're excited ahead of time, and you got that like nervous excitement and anticipation for what's going to come, especially if it's a big band or your favorite band, and you get in there and you're like singing and chanting and dancing in concert with tens or hundreds or thousands of other people, and you're all riding the same wave and energy. And it's just, it's like a ritual is a great, you know, sort of analogy for that. And I think I think it's why we as human beings find concerts and seeing our favorite artists such a therapeutic experience.
It's almost a religious experience for a lot of people.
Yeah,
100%. That's why they say music is my religion, sort of thing. So
100%, 100%. And it's, you know, it's. I think for a lot of people, it's not an exaggeration. It really does give them. They get the same, you know, emotional fulfillment out of it that a lot of people get out of religion, which is, you know, like
100%. Yep.
Having just gone, you know, been to Knotfest the other week, like seeing a band that and then they played like, you know, songs that we've not heard live before as well, and everyone just got like that, just pulled everyone up again too. It's
start getting to 40-year-old man getting teary from a song you haven't heard for the last 20 years played live, and you're just like, oh, my heart, my soul.
But
don't worry, I had it with Mr. Bungle. Hadn't seen them since, I don't know, a long time, and they played the Thrash album last time that came out. Same deal. It was 100% like, I've never seen any of that live because they never played it.
Yeah.
It was always their experimental or something like that. So going to see them was a religious experience for me. Mike Patton, as you know, is just a god when it comes to vocal. He's ridiculous. So I 100% had that feeling by watching that live.
Love it. Yeah, it's incredible. It is. So, Killer, I want to come back to you for a little bit. So, do you do all of the vocals? Is it like a shared thing? Are you doing the clean stuff as well, where that pops up? Like, what's
for the most?
there?
I'd probably do 99% of the vocals on there. So Betty, our guitarist, has got a couple of cleans he does in a couple of sections where I'm doing a heavy vocal over it. But yeah, for the most part, like all the highs, all the lows, all the mid-tone heavies, it's all me.
Okay. And who do you like in terms of vocalists? Who do you sort of try and? I mean, not so like, I don't know if emulate's the right word, but like, which vocalists do you feel you take most of your style from?
Yeah, it's hard with metal stuff. Because when I first started doing heavy vocals like this, there wasn't heavy bands that I was taking massive influence from, except for a band called Zayo. So definitely Zayo was something that I like early days jumped on with. And it was more out of how the hell does he do this style of vocal? But then also, so like Cradle of Filth, with the highs, kind of the way I pronounce words is very Cradle of Filth. You know, things aren't evil, they're evil, and things like that.
Okay. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have picked that as a thing there, like, but that's really cool.
It's a more of a technique thing than a. Yeah, you know,
especially
and emulation.
If you're saying it in those higher parts, evil comes out a lot better in those higher parts. And
just helps your pronunciation and enunciation with words and stuff, which is like, that's really cool.
And then
cheeks in.
Yeah, and then the lows. This is ridiculous, but Nathan Explosion from Death Clock.
Yeah. You going? Are you going to
I'm hoping to. I live a fair way out of the city in South Australia. And I don't drive, so we'll see what happens. I'd like to get there. I actually spoke to Brandon Smalls, what was it, a month ago in an interview, and told him that I take inspiration from Nathan Explosion. So that was a little bucket tick list for me there.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome. So you do interviews for like your own channel, or what?
So I've got my own channel, and I do stuff with Crank Radio as well, and Jai the Aussie music guy.
Yep.
Yeah, so So I've just joined the Crank team recently. So I've done 2 interviews. Who we speak to?
nice.
Udo from Accept, and Brandon Smalls. So that was amazing. And yeah, I'm just about to upload an interview with Ned from a band called Red Hook over on my channel.
Yeah, we
had Ned on.
We had Ned on a little
Ned's
while
fantastic.
back.
I love
Red
Ned.
Hook. They're doing
Top
amazing
dude,
work.
man.
Awesome band.
Ned's a good dude.
What's your channel called?
Killer Tube.
Killer Tube. Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
it's reasonably new. So I do reacts, and this will be the first interview going up on over there.
Nice.
Yeah, or if you look
Yeah,
up
do
Killer, it's at my at for YouTube's at killer.solo.music. It's a nice, easy way to find it. But yeah, if you search Killer Tube, you can find me on there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. We'll tell
Found
you
and
what,
subbed.
we'll
Hey, thank you.
yeah, we'll have to if either myself or Kyle's ever away for something and we need someone to step in for reactions or whatever.
Hey,
we'll,
you holler at me. I'd love
definitely.
to. Yeah, that'd be
Definitely.
good fun. Good fun.
So obviously the 2 EPs you guys have dropped, 2023 and one recently, very recently, earlier this year. Is there? I know, like obviously you've just dropped an EP, but is there plans for like more music as we go into this year?
There is.
Always
There's
is.
always plans for music. We've got 2 songs we're working on at the moment, which I've heard one of. We're quite lucky. All the guys have got little home recording setups. So
that's important these days.
100%. So we'll record stuff and we'll bounce it around to each other. So once Adam, our drummer, has got this new one, which I think the boys got together, the guitarists got together on Sunday, and we're working on. But yeah. So a couple of new songs we're working on at the moment. Hopefully, Ads and I have been talking about getting into the studio. Hopefully in about 3-4 months, maybe. It's still just talk at the moment, nothing set in place. But yeah, getting into the studio so we can get a couple more songs in the bag and drop a couple more singles. So
Loving
Where
it.
it's at now.
Loving it. Yeah. EPs
Keep
and
dropping the
singles
algorithm.
is where the game's at these days, unfortunately.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
the idea of an album as a whole concept is unfortunately pretty finished in terms of
Just
the way
because we
we
say
knew
it
it.
doesn't mean we like it, but yeah.
I
Unless you're
love a
massive
good
fan.
album.
Yeah, I
Unless
love
you're a
a
massive
good
fan,
album,
it's
but even
fucking hard.
I feel like even the art of it, you know what I mean? It's starting to. But to be fair though, when you do get a band that just can keep writing good albums, it does really it puts a big separation on what else is going on out there.
100%. We've got amazing albums dropping, like Whitechapel have just dropped. We've got Spirit Box. Lost Souls are about to drop in a month. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
mad.
for as Shane kind of mentioned there, like it's established band. It's a lot easier because you kind of already have that support and that income stream, and you can take the time to do these things. If you're coming up, if you're starting out, like albums are unfortunately no longer the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to be able to afford to take a couple of months off to write and record and do something like that, but
Yeah,
it's just not
And
feasible
keep the
these
bills
days.
being paid. And keep the
Exactly,
bills being
yeah.
paid. That's the
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah,
Anyone
bills
can have a
paid,
couple-
food on
yeah.
the table.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's the big one.
no, that's pretty cool. So I'm noticing your in your background there, Killer. You got a bit like me. You got a bit of a setup of some collectibles and
Yeah, I have a
some-
problem.
some goodies there. You got the is that each of the KISS members along the back there?
It is there, yeah.
All of
That's
them?
there, the Psycho Circus McFarlane toys, the Psycho Circus ones. But yeah, I've got a problem. On the other side, I've got Ninja Turtles over here. We've got Masters of the Universe. I've got Scooby-Doo. We've got Star Wars. I've got just over 300 pop vinyls, all in their boxes still.
wow.
Most of those are all like old stuff you just can't get anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, lots of 80s toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back when they could
Ghostbusters.
hurt you still.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Ghostbusters, Mask, Pokemon stuff, Mr. T. I've got a thing for Ernie from like Ernie and Bert. I don't know why. I just anything I see Ernie, I need to get.
Well, you give them.
Remember, as long as you've got shelf space, you got room for more. And as long
do
as you've
not.
got room
Doesn't.
for more, it's not a problem.
No, I'm
Never
looking
forget,
at
there are
I'm
always
looking
more
at bags
shelves.
and bags and boxes
Oh,
right next to me
okay,
here with
it's that
No,
bad.
I've got a few thousand Pez dispensers in a box just here. I've got Pokemon cards for days. I have a problem. It's a great problem to have, but
It is, to be fair. You know, I love it when they say you won't be spending. Why do you want to waste my money on this stuff when you're growing up? You know, you wouldn't spend your own money on this stuff. It's like, well, look, Ma.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is pure happiness.
I don't know if you can see it. I got the sound wave, the old school
Yes.
sound wave there. It was the one when I was a kid that I always wanted a sound wave, and my parents never got it for me. And then when I
No.
started working, they were like out of production because they kind of stopped making them for a while, and then they brought them back. So I'm like, ah, fuck it. I'm like,
I've got thanks to Waffles, I've got a G1 Optimus just sitting over there that Waffles kindly gave me a couple of years ago.
I think I've got a GoBot somewhere over there.
oh, GoBots. That's a bit of a deep cut these days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, a few of us in the band are collectors, so we just love it.
Nice.
Adam, our
That's
drummer, has goes to comics fairs and has a stall and sells stuff as well. And
Wow.
He's got some
so-
really nice mint on card old school shit.
oh,
Yeah.
drives me crazy seeing his collection.
Hey, look, you know, got to have a hobby, right? I mean,
Hey, you do.
other than music.
That's it.
Yeah,
That is really, really cool though. That's really cool. I don't know if you've heard of there was a band from Sydney called Not Another Sequel, Just Another Prequel, and they had their whole shtick was like 80s pop culture stuff. So
that's awesome.
a lot of their songs were song titles were references to, you know, like old school pop culture stuff. They often had their artwork was themed around it. Some of the songs were written, like they had a song that was all about, like it was all about like the Dream Warriors and shit like that. And they had one of their songs was called, fuck now, this is a long title. I'm trying to remember the name of. Actually, let me see if it's on here somewhere. Not Another Sequel. Oh, fuck. Not Another Sequel, Just Another Prequel.
Nasjap.
Yeah, NASJAP for short, but
Mm.
oh damn it. Okay, I don't think they had that. But there was it was like Halloween falls on Friday the 13th while I was having a nightmare on Elm Street, a good guy doll was delivered. Something ridiculous like that. It was just
That's great.
They had, what was another one about Highlander and all that kind of stuff. Just like great dudes, great music, very fun, you know, stuff to kind of listen to there.
Yeah, I love that. See, I love my boy Kev from Lost Souls writes some hilarious lyrics. So, yeah, I love that stuff.
That's great. That's so good. It's just, again, it goes back to having fun with it, right?
Exactly.
If you can't have fun with it, and I think that's where a lot of bands are these days. So many bands newer bands especially that we check out, they take the music seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the right headspace to be in, because metal for such a long time was just this like, you know, yeah, you had to be super macho and super hardcore, and, you know, you couldn't be like, you had to take it all very, very seriously and whatnot, even though it was like it was party music for so long. Like, you know, you look at a lot of that stuff, early days, like early thrash stuff was very party oriented in a lot of ways, and just about letting loose and having fun. And then somewhere along the way, it became this like super serious fucking thing, and you just couldn't like anything else. You weren't metal enough if you didn't do that. And then it kind of like, it's come back around to this, you know, just let's just have some fun, guys. Let's party and cut loose and enjoy ourselves, and, you know, bang our heads a little bit, not too much, because we haven't stretched and we got work tomorrow, and we don't want to be like having to turn like Batman all the time to talk to anybody. And
That's that electric callboy age.
yes,
That party metal.
and there's and those.
I mean, even going back,
doing great work too.
even going back to like Andrew WK.
You know what's funny? I went for a walk the other day and I chucked that on and I'm like, this stuff was just, I haven't listened to it in like 15, 20 years.
Oh, I love Andrew WK.
I was like, this stuff, now it's on high rotation. Ever since I listened to it the other week, it's been on high rotation, but I was just like, oh, this just took me back. I'm like, this was music. All that.
It's a good time.
It was.
Yeah, it's just a good time. It makes you
We
smile.
want fun. And you better believe,
The best.
Yeah, just a bit of lighthearted stuff, you know, because a lot of the topics that get touched on in metal are pretty, you know, they can be pretty heavy topics, right? Like, I mean, you guys cover some of these in your stuff as well. you know, like you get stuff about like mental health and addiction and that sort of stuff, and there's very important things to talk about, of course. So I think that's where the balance is needed, and I think it's one of the reasons that metal is you know, finally for at least some areas of like mainstream music culture starting to get a bit of the respect that it deserves.
Yeah.
Because that's not been the case, right? You've said for a lot, and look, the Grammys is not the best measuring
Don't count for
stick
nothing
of this,
anymore.
but the fact that bands like Gojira can perform at the Paris Olympic opening ceremony and win very deservedly, I think, best metal performance of the year for that.
Yeah.
Shows that at least some parts of the mainstream industry are taking metal seriously now.
Yeah, even with like Parkway doing the AFL football theme, like
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
That was the AFL or NRL?
It's AFL. It's the
it
footy
is
show
AFL.
one. Yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I was
Good.
very confused about that.
Because
I'm
I
going,
saw
what
NRL,
the
I saw
hell?
a post that said NRL, but whatever. I don't care as long as they're doing something.
Well, I love it. I love it. It's
And
just
I mean, them
pushing
getting the
this music.
opportunity to play at the Opera House as well, like
Oh,
that's
awesome.
coming up with the orchestra. Like, I know it's not they're not the first, you know, heavy band to do it, but it's not a long list.
No.
It's and you know, for I mean, I didn't go to their recent tour because they're just. I appreciate what they've done for Australian heavy music and everything. They're just not someone that's ever really been in high rotation in my library because of just when I came up, what I was listening to, what I got exposed to around that time and everything. But, you know, for them to be, I saw stuff from their recent tours and like, they're top of the industry, those kind of guys. Like the shows that they were able to put on, that just looked absolutely insane.
I mean, they'd have to be one of Australia's biggest musical exports at the moment.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
internationally, they're just massive. It's just, and that's awesome. But it's unfortunate you don't see more of that in like your mainstream media and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
I mean, that'll never
a lot of
change, but-
there's still a lot of stigma that goes around it, and you know, a lot of people will claim it as soon as you know they start doing stuff overseas. Then all of a sudden, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. It's like, oh yeah, they're from Australia. Oh. But then you know, let's give them the shot to begin with.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, when Disturbed brought out that, you know, did the Sound of Silence thing, and I went, Burko, look, great, cool, you know, as long as everybody's talking about Disturbed, great. But then you show the people that like that one song the other stuff, and they're like, oh, no.
It's like they've been shown the softer side of things, and then they go, "Oh, there's
Yeah.
heavier stuff over here," and they
it's
go,
like,
"Nope."
now you've had the entree. Let's give you the main.
But
I don't like the
it's
main.
just, I think it's kind of just the way it is with anything that's counterculture, though. It's whenever the mainstream or whenever people go on like mainstream media shows to talk about it because their particular part of it has gotten some attention or something like that. It's always the same sort of like semi-condescending questions that get asked, and you know they don't. Because they just get a card with questions in front of them and they don't understand what they're asking about. They don't know what the person actually does. And so there is still a way to go with it. But, you know, it's at least there's some sections of the music business at least seem to be taking it a bit more seriously. Like even you got more rappers collaborating with metal and rock artists again now, which is, I mean, you go back to, like Aerosmith and Run DMC, or then like Anthrax and Public Enemy, exactly. And you know that's been something that's even then you look at like Korn with what they were doing in their early stuff, collaborating with rappers. So it's like that's something that's been there, but I feel like kind of went away for a bit and seems to be coming back again now. So there's,
I mean, Tech Nine crushed on that Falling in Reverse track. Like he was heavy on that.
and I mean he's done stuff.
And that's not his first radio.
It's not his first.
Yeah, I know
metal
it's
thing
not.
he's
Yeah,
done. He's done with like something with I think Kim Dracula and had Kim Dracula on there, so they kind of like collaborated on something. He's done stuff with Corey Taylor as well. I think he's done something with. Has he done something with Surge from System of a Down as well? I think Pretty sure he
maybe.
has.
Then you had
So there's
Em and Manson.
yeah. So
Like you
it's
just it was such a big thing, and it was like when the new metal thing was coming out, all like everyone was into it.
Yeah.
Everyone was working with everyone,
yeah.
and then it sort of kicked off back again. Remember how we did the reaction to was
Yeah.
it Bring Me the Horizon and Little Uzi Vert?
Yep. And you had
Yeah,
was
they
it
did some stuff
Spirit
together.
Box and Megan Thee Stallion or something? She did. Was it?
Yeah,
I know.
Megan.
Was it Megan Thee
Yeah, I
Stallion
think.
did something with a metal band as well recently? So there's
Okay.
it's kind of it's coming back around a bit, which is good to see. Um, so in
More
terms
of it.
in terms of shows though, like I want to come back to bringing it back to you guys, obviously.
Yeah.
In terms of shows, like what have you guys got much planned in the way of shows or like touring around the place planned for this year? Is that
We
something that's
do.
coming up?
We do, yeah. We've got I think we're booked right out through till about August at the moment.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
fantastic.
So we've got our first Melbourne trip coming up as well. So we're heading over there in June, July,
May.
May. Okay, well,
May.
you can tell I don't deal with any of the
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Waffles takes care of a lot of the stuff. I get told when to be where.
Yeah, so May 17th, we got our first show, Bendigo Hotel, in Collingwood.
Good
So
venue, that.
yeah, we haven't even been out the state yet. So this is literally our first over the
Nice.
border.
Can you say who
and
you're
that-
playing with on that one or
Oh
not
yeah,
yet?
yeah. It's already released. So it's nothing from Melbourne headlining it. It's Dead by Daylight Melbourne edition.
Okay.
So there's so by Ironjaw. I can give you the whole list if you want. So there's a couple of bands coming over. So I Choose Violence, Seek Misery, Ecdysis, where us four bands are coming over from Adelaide. I think
Homies in Deadweight 80.
yeah, Deadweight 80 are playing from Melbourne. I got the list in front of me. Give me a sec. I didn't have any of this ready.
No, that's okay. So,
That's all
so that'll
right.
be a good one. Like that's
But no, yeah, so we got
It'll
that.
be huge.
Then
It'll
we've
be
got
wicked.
the Adelaide Dead by Daylight. Not long after that, we've got a show, regional show, in Victor Harbour for the Whale Fest.
Which hasn't been announced yet.
Okay. We've got lots
This
of
is
stuff
why he
coming.
doesn't do things. So we got so that one in Melbourne's Ends in Tragedy, Seek Misery, in Sentiment, us, Deadwood 80, this is Furious George, who came over
Yes.
here and played our EP launch.
Mhm.
Absolutely amazing.
Awesome band.
Awesome band. Virtues are coming down from Brisbane, so from up your way.
Mhm.
And of course, I Choose Violence. So yeah, that'll be the 17th of May at Bendigo Hotel. And then we've also got part 2 of that, which is in Adelaide in June, on June the 7th, which is when I get to that one as well. Zeolite are coming over from Melbourne.
Nice.
They're headlining that one. So Vapors from Adelaide, Deadweight 80 are coming back over. Zeolite,
Yes.
Acosta are playing. Pendle Hill, who also played our EP launch.
Awesome
I Choose Violence again. So yeah.
Are they from Pendle Hill in Sydney?
No, so they're from Melbourne.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure why they call Pendle Hill. I'll ask them when they come over.
Yeah,
But
ask
yeah,
them.
so that'll be good.
Probably.
And then we've got a little gig, just a local one down here. We actually got asked to play a birthday party, which has now turned into a gig, which is weird. Someone saw us bleeding through and liked us that much. She wanted us to play for her 21st.
That's pretty
And now
fucking
it's turned
cool.
in-
Nice.
And now that's turned into a 3-band gig at some brewery in the dirty South in Adelaide. So
Yeah, nice. At a brewery too. Speaking my language. Love it.
well, someone
They
has to
call him
drink in the
BeerBuddy
band.
for a reason. So
Oh, well, Chris can't drink because he's old and has a yeah. We call him Gout Man.
Oh
So
no.
as soon as he has a beer, it's all over. He's
Oh, as
Mr.
soon as
Lemonade.
if I have a diet drink, it's all over. It's horrible.
Oh no.
Joys are getting
Oh.
old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's So we've got a few things coming. We've also got other stuff under wraps. So I mean,
cool.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff in the works
Good,
for this year. That's
man.
that's awesome. Like I'm stoked to see that you guys are just you're not stopping. You know, you got the momentum there and you're just pushing on, keeping it up, you know, keeping on that grind and just absolutely killing it. Like
well, the only reason we haven't got a gig for March is because we're just sitting back and trying to work on these 2 songs and just get them sorted out. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So look, we will have links down in the description to all of your socials and everything. So if people want to follow you guys and keep up with everything you got going on, they'll absolutely be able to, and they can, check out those gig announcements, and they can keep tabs on everything else, and whatever new music that's getting worked on and is coming out later in the year too. So look, I mean, I've managed to get down to Adelaide a couple of times for gigs that I've been playing. I need to get back down there because, like, I love going to Adelaide. I like the vibe of the city. I love, Radelaide, as I like to call it. I'm sure there's like a bit of a shout out there. Speaking of Tech Nine, one of the times I was down there was for a Tech Nine gig many years ago. I'm friends with Kid Crusher. I do a lot of work with him. He's coming out of Adelaide, so if you've been around, you might have seen him.
Yeah.
See the one that did the song with Timmy?
Yeah, he's
and
on the
that?
track with Those Left Behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known him for many years now. I've filled the DJ role for a lot of his sets and stuff, and I actually came down for when he supported Tech Nine a while back, and was a part of that one. And I've also been down there with when I was in Tensions Arise, we came down and played with Octanic, I think it was, possibly even Headball back in their early days.
Yes.
So
good lads.
That was at Enigma Bar. Rest in peace, Enigma Bar.
Oh.
It was, we were way up in the fucking, all the way up in the top back room, so we had to lug our shit up a shitload of stairs.
Oh, the stairs at the back were absolutely horrible in that place.
But no, look, that was a great spot. We actually that was actually the third stop on a 3-date tour run that we did. We did Melbourne on Thursday night, Warrnambool on Friday night, and Adelaide on the Saturday night. And then we didn't stay in Adelaide afterwards, so we went to drive back to Sydney after that, which was a fucking mistake.
Oh, I've been there and done that.
Yeah. But you live and learn. So I'll tell you what, though, I love the fact, you naming the bands on Dead by Daylight, and I'm like, okay, I'll be honest, I haven't heard of any of them, but that shows me how deep the Aussie metal scene is, right? We've been doing this channel for a few years now. We've been reaching out to a lot of bands, interviewing a lot of bands, discovering so many more Aussie bands that are out there doing stuff, and there's still so many more out there that we're yet to come across, and that just makes me so happy because it shows that Aussie heavy bands are still out there putting the work in, absolutely killing it. We talk to a lot of young bands, which is great, but it's also nice to talk to people that have been around doing it for a while because you guys get it. You were there through the same times that we were. So, you understand, you've been through kind of the ups and downs of stuff. And yeah, this is great. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting with us today.
No, not a problem. It's been a good time.
Yes. Yeah. For everybody who's listening along on the podcast feed, or if they're watching this on YouTube, firstly, if you've listened this far, thank you very, very much. You're an absolute legend. We will have a quick question quarter and get in the bin that are going to be coming out on Saturday and Sunday as per usual. So if you had a good time today and enjoyed our chat with Storm the Crown, make sure you subscribe so you can check out those other videos, and make sure you go and check out all their socials. We'll have the links down in the thing. I'm sorry I keep pausing before I say your band name, by the way. An ex of mine was in a band called Shatter the Crown. And so every time I go to say it, I have to stop myself from saying Shatter the Crown. and yeah. But yeah, look, this has been really rad. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to chat to us. And yeah, like I said, go and follow these guys. They got some great work. Give us a shout out for that YouTube channel again, mate.
Oh, my YouTube channel? KillerTube. Or killer.solo.music is my YouTube app. So yeah, check it out. I have fun over there.
Awesome. So anything that you want to shout out there, Waffles? Any other projects you've got going on?
Look, I am at the point in my life where I'm too old to do more than one thing. I
just have ADHD. I can't help myself.
Yeah, I'm just install the crown. That's it. I mean, it's a handful because I do all the other stuff in the background as well. So
Yeah.
all the socials. Anytime anyone messages, like I'm the one who will do all that sort of stuff. So it's quite a lot of work in the background anyway.
Mm.
So I'm quite content with how everything's going.
Awesome. Well, look, yeah, thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate that. We're going to wrap this one up now, but as I said, we will be back on Saturday and Sunday with Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin respectively. So make sure you stay tuned for those. Go and listen to the EPs from these guys. It's incredible. The production, like I say, it's crisp, it's heavy, it's well balanced. There's not a bad thing to say about it. It's just everything is dialed in so precisely, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Tequila and Waffles. You guys have been legends. I have been the Reverend Raff. This has been the Beer Buddy Kyle. You guys have been absolutely amazing. If you like this video, give it a like. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel, and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.